Good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning for these few minutes of quiet time before we get into our busy day. So I invite you to just relax your physical body in your chair. Just feel the weight of your body as it presses against the chair and just allow it to be. With your spine straight, allow your shoulders to relax, your jaw to relax, your fingers and toes to relax, your forehead to relax, and your eyelids to relax, simply allowing your eyes to close. Counting the breath, breathing in for 4 counts, and breathing out. Just allowing the breath to come and to go. Breathing in and breathing out. I invite you now to just imagine that you are standing outdoors on a beautiful, warm spring day. That first day of spring, when suddenly everything comes back to life. When everything is growing so fast, you can almost see the leaves growing and the buds unfolding. And just breathing in the freshness of the air, feeling it on your face. And you observe that there are ladybugs and dragonflies and hummingbirds in the air, all flitting about, busily getting ready for spring. And imagine that you are standing in a meadow just on the edge of a stand of beautiful trees. The flowers are blooming all around you. Birds are singing, and the sunshine is fresh on your face and your back. And if you're comfortable doing so, imagine that your feet are bare and you feel the cool grass beneath your feet, the warm sun on your back and shoulders, the gentlest of breezes on your face. I invite you now to turn and look toward that stand of trees and observe those trees, really observe them. What species are they? Are they coniferous trees, deciduous trees, evergreens, maples, oaks, fir, cedar? Really look at those trees. And slowly, ever so slowly, begin to walk toward the trees. Feeling the cool grass turning to the warmth of the well-worn path into the trees. It may be firm under your feet, or there may be a soft cushion of evergreen needles. Feel it on your feet. Feel it with each step as you approach and step into that grove of trees. And just inside, you will see a clearing. And stepping into that clearing, you are surrounded by the trees. Turn a complete circle and really see each tree. Feel a connection with each tree. Breathing into that connection. And now choose one tree and gently approach it. Perhaps with your palms turned forward in a gesture of friendship. Place one hand on the tree. Feel the smooth roughness of the bark. Place your other hand on the tree and feel its energy between your palms. Lean forward and allow your chest to touch the tree, knowing that it can sense your heartbeat. Become aware and feel the sap running in the tree. Feel the slow, gentle expansion of the tree as it continues to grow. Feel the growth rings, one for each year of life. Turn now and let your back lean against the tree. Feel the tree trunk pressing up against your back. Slowly bend your knees, allowing your back to slide down the tree trunk. And come to a sitting position, nestled in the arms of the trunk that reaches out and branches out into the roots. The roots that reach into the ground to find the water to nourish the tree. The roots that branch out and reach out and communicate with the other trees in the area. Feel yourself connected to that web of life that is all around you. And just breathe. Just being aware of the tree, your connection with the tree's connection with the other trees, the circulation of life between you. And realize that as you exhale, the gift of carbon dioxide on your breath nourishes the tree. And as you inhale, you're drawing in the tree's gift of oxygen to nourish your body. Breathing deeply and gently and evenly. Exchanging life force with the tree. As you continue to breathe, gently lift your head and look up through the canopy above your head. See the leaves dancing, the branches swaying, the sun shining, nourishing both you and the trees. Slowly and gently now, I invite you to imagine yourself standing, once again placing your hands on the tree trunk, feeling its life, and step back into the middle of the clearing. And once again, turning in a complete circle, acknowledge each tree. Thank the trees for sharing themselves with you and for all they do to nourish life. And stepping back onto the path now. Become aware once again of the texture of the path under your feet. And slowly walk out from the glade of trees, back into the meadow, the cool grass. And even for the few moments where you have been absent from this place, you notice the difference. More flowers have sprouted and grown and blossomed. More hummingbirds have arrived, more dragonflies, more ladybugs, more butterflies. Look carefully at it all. Appreciate it all, acknowledge it all. Feel the warmth of the sun. And just spend a moment in gratitude. And I invite you now to gently bring yourself back to an awareness of time and place. Becoming aware once again of your feet, your hands, the weight of your body in the chair. And breathing in, feel your body lighter, more relaxed, at peace. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Thanks for being with us this morning. Please stay around and listen to Michael Drislane's lovely musical prelude and then our service. Namaste.
this circle of love, in this circle of peace, in this circle of love, in this circle of peace. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. In this circle of love, in this circle of peace, in this circle of love, in this circle of peace. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. In this circle of love, in this circle of peace, in this circle of love, in this circle of peace. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. In this circle of love, in this circle of peace, in this circle of love, in this circle of peace. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. In this circle of love, in this circle of peace, in this circle of love, in this circle of peace. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. In this circle of love, in this circle of peace.
Thank you and welcome. I do hope you all feel that circle of love and peace all around us and out there. And I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are on the traditional unceded territory of many First Nations around Vancouver Island. So I invite you to just take a moment and acknowledge that in your heart. And I say to you, Ai Netel, good morning. You want to say it?
Oh, I Kwanasi Lumnama.
Which means?
I'm so glad to see you again.
It's really good to see you. Thank you very much. And
I Kwanasi Lumnama.
yeah, Iquanas e Lumnana. All right. And welcome everyone, wherever you are on Vancouver Island or beyond, you're welcome here. No matter where you are in your spiritual path, you're welcome here. This is a place of free thinking, of free communication, of loving communication. And whatever rings true for you this morning, please take that with you and keep it in your heart. And if there's anything that does not ring true, you can just leave it behind. Thank you for being here, and let's have some music.
Up, up, up to a higher place. Up, 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 far beyond this time and space. Up, up, up to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Up, up, up to a higher place. Up, 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 far beyond
Just resting.
Get back up now.
God is my soul, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. Love is my source, love is my power, love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. Peace gives me everything I need.
And
You and me, what was that? That was awesome.
would you join me in repeating the vision of Unity Worldwide Ministries, which you know, this is a trick. I put the slide in the wrong place, so you'd have to do it from memory, right? So the vision of Unity Worldwide Ministries is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. They know it, hooray. And so as we enter into our time of prayer this morning, I invite you to bring into your consciousness all the people in the area of Russia, Ukraine, and any other place in our world where there is turmoil. And let's just turn inside and remember.
Don't know why.
It was God saying, pay attention. All right. And so we're just going to remember the truth. The truth is that there is one power and one presence active in this universe and in our lives, in the lives of everything with which we are created, connected, and know that we are connected with all of life. There is one life. And the nature of that life is goodness, is peace, is joy. The purpose of that life is to express godness, to express divinity. And that is everywhere within each and every one of us. And as we are expressions of the divine, we too create with our word. And word by word, moment by moment, we are creating a vibration of peace. And that is radiating out from each of us and from us as a community. And we know that it can and will reach into every corner of our planet. And sanity will be restored in perfect time and in perfect order. And so we recognize that right now, in the midst of any appearances, there is peace. And there is love. There is security. And there is joy. And so we did sit in deep gratitude that we are currently experiencing all of this, and know that it is available to all. do our part to make it so. And so it is. Amen. I want to read to you again from Alan Cohen's book this week, Dare to be Divine. Recently, I met a gay singer at a spiritual conference. She had just returned from performing at a national gay convention. This courageous woman told me that before she went on stage to perform, the organizers of the conference called her aside and told her, "Please do not sing any of your spiritual songs." This request surprised her. She thought for a moment, and then she responded, "You and this movement for gay liberation have taught me many years to be able to stand before spiritual audiences and admit that I am gay. Now I think I should be able to stand before a gay audience and admit that I am God." You and I too need to have the courage to claim our spiritual identity in the midst of a world afraid of light. We don't need to flaunt our spirituality, argue about it, or attack anyone who does not see or agree with it. We just need to live it. The path of mastery does not require us to convince anyone else of anything. It simply asks us to remember who we are and be it. When we know that we are born of God, heirs to all the spiritual riches of the universe, the dilemmas of life give way to a deep sense of confidence that our destiny is one of great good. And so it is. And now we shall have another song, please, Ken.
There was just one presence, there was just one light, shining in the world like a beacon in the night. There was just one power we all can't share, one great power everywhere. One great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the stars up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great spirit everywhere. There was just one purpose, there was just one spark, burning in our souls like a candle in the dark. There was just one chorus we all can't sing, one great power, let it ring. One great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the stars up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great spirit everywhere. One great power everywhere, one great power everywhere.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Thomas.
Morning.
Backing it up. In case I want to run side to side. Because I was thinking this morning, I've never looked at the room from here before when speaking. And this is I'm always there or I never come over like the halfway meridian or something to be on this side of the room. And it's different over here. I see, usually I'm looking at the people over there more than over here. And then people online. So, hi.
Stay on it.
Get back over there.
Yeah. When I was little, a boy, a wee lad, and I'm not sure if this is what you would do as well, but for me, I would find fields like the football field at my school or something at night where there's no trees and it would be dark, one of the darkest spaces where I live because there was no lights around. And I would stare up at the universe and just be in awe of it. And, I don't know that everybody does that, but one of my daughters was sharing that with me earlier this week, that we were outside walking the dog, it was night, and we were looking up at the sky and just the awesomeness of it all, and how long it was taking for that light to travel, like that light that we would see from a star was thousands of light years ago, and that star could be gone now, but we're still receiving the last signals of its light that was sent out. And it blows me away that that is above us. And so I asked the question, what is it that God lacks? Anybody?
Nothing.
God lacks nothing? Okay. God lacks us. Anybody else? God lacks the knowledge of us.
Somebody to play with.
God lacks somebody to play with. I propose that what God lacks is limitation. That is actually lacking in God. And when I think of that, I think of my childhood experience of looking up at the universe and seeing this vastness, this unlimited space. And when I did the Landmark Forum, I learned the idea of unlimited possibility, that there's possibility. Yet, it doesn't feel that way, does it, sometimes? It feels like there is a great deal of barriers to possibility in our own lives as we move about and as we age and as we go forward and as we try to pursue ideas or things that we might want to do. And yet in unity, we have this idea that God is omniscience, knows all things. God is omnipotence, all-powerful. God is omnipresence, everywhere at once. So that is a lack of limitation just by that definition alone, that God is unlimited in the scope. And so if something is unlimited, if there's no limitation, how could there be being? Isn't it our own vulnerabilities and our own limitations that give us beingness? I am in this finite body that will have a lifespan, a vulnerability that I will die one day, you will all die one day, we have that. And so doesn't that give us our beingness, our vulnerabilities? Isn't that the very definition of life in this reality that we have? And so as we struggle through our lives, and I wonder if this is the same for you, that when I think of vulnerability in the context now, usually the first thing that comes to mind is the vulnerability of my inner deep secrets and my emotions and, hiding myself from the world. Yet vulnerability is also the idea that I could get caught in a snowstorm and die, right? I physically have vulnerability as well. It's not just the emotional state. And so inside of that, we get our beingness, we get our limitations from our own vulnerabilities, and it defines who we are. And maybe when I think of myself as a kid looking at the universe, the thing that comes up for me is trying to understand what is life itself. What is this godness? What is the unlimited? Why am I here? Is that not maybe the biggest question humanity has been trying to answer? And in that, we have this idea of God, and we've had all sorts of variations and creations of what that looks like in all different walks of this planet and different cultures. God means so many different things to so many different people. Yet I think it's our struggle to define who we are, to figure out what is it that we're here for? Why do I exist? And so uncovering our vulnerabilities is actually a great thing. So when I think about being vulnerable and hiding, aren't we shrinking in and closing off possibility and creating our own world of lack? And yet it's natural for us to want to do it, right? I mean, who wants to go around showing their weaknesses, where they're vulnerable, where they can be hurt or damaged? It's not natural for us to want to do that. It's much more natural for us to protect that and put on, an ego of some kind, or be tough and, hey, I'm the, walking through life like that. Or walking through life where you don't even want to be seen. You do everything you can to blend in because there's some pain there, there's something there that might hurt. And yet, what I've found is that it's uncovering that actually opens up what's possible. It's actually by exposing those things that we get to experience life at a greater level. So it's a real conundrum to be human, isn't it? It's a real struggle, right? That's what this is that life feels like a struggle a lot of times. And it's that opening up of that suffering that is the struggle for each of us. And it's all different for each of us. We each have our own path to walk. I'm sure you've heard that before, right? It's not, wow, I just said that. No, it didn't come from me, that we each have our own path to walk. So we're living in this finite world with the battle of the infinite, is how I see it. And we have great stories in the Bible that uncover this. Genesis is that creation story and that opening up of the infinite and that discovering of the infinite. And Adam and Eve is the discovery of the finite, when you think about it. Until the apple, the fruit from the forbidden tree, was eaten, that's when the scales came off Adam's eyes, and suddenly he realized he was vulnerable and naked, and now they needed to hide. So really, that story is the creation of our vulnerability, of understanding our humanity. It isn't a creation story of how we got on this planet. I see it more as a story of the uncovering of how we move in our heads, how we think, how we try to live our lives. And there's a great fear of being open and naked in the world for others to see. And then part of Genesis is also the story of Jacob's ladder. And I'll try to it's a long story, so I'll try to make it short, but Jacob and his mother, Rebekah, kind of duped Jacob's brother Esau and took the birthright. However, there's a point in time where Jacob needs to run from Esau and save his own life. And he ends up in the desert all alone and lays his head on a rock and discovers Jacob's ladder. And from that sort of exposure of himself to his most vulnerable state, all alone in the middle of the desert, he begins to reimagine his life in a way. And it ends up where Jacob then battles the angel of God. All night long they battled. And I remember seeing this in the Louvre, a piece of art where it's two-sided. I don't know what it's called, but it is the battle of Jacob and the angel of God. And they battle all night long, and neither wins. And in this moment, so this is the finite battling the infinite. And upon the morning, no victory, God gives Jacob a new name because of this. Jacob is then called Israel. And that's where the Israelites get their name from. And the 12 sons of Jacob go out and become the 12 tribes of Israel. So when you think about that, when I think about it, maybe not you, but when I think about it, I see this as the finite battling the infinite, overcoming their finite, and from that comes abundance. I mean, look at what happened out of that. The 12 tribes of Israel are born from Jacob's battling the infinite all night long and not losing, but not winning either, but understanding it. And that's what I think we have in front of us, is the ability to battle that vulnerability and open ourselves up to something far greater than what we think or what we know is possible. And I see this with my kids, right? I see their struggle of being in high school, of their own limitations coming in, of looking for approval in some areas of their life, of struggling with that to overcome it. And, I want to step in as the dad and go, it's this simple. If you could just understand these biblical stories and put them in your, and that's just not going to happen, right? They're like, "Ee." Dad, you're crazy. So we are wrestling with God, the infinite, and this battle with the angel of God, does anybody know where it happened? Well, the place it happened, Jacob renamed Peniel. Yeah, so Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and this place that this battle with the angel of God happened is called Peniel. And what is in the middle of our heads? The pineal gland. And what does the pineal gland represent in our 12 powers? The power of faith, as Charles Fillmore put it. Interesting, right? Like, I think that's pretty cool. When I, as I sort of put these pieces together and had these thoughts, I was like, wow, Charles was pretty sharp to have, put these divine ideas, the 12 divine ideas, are all placed appropriately if you look at the connection metaphysically in the Bible to where Charles thought they should be. And the pineal gland, faith being, arguably the most important of them, dead center. And there's a whole history of the pineal gland out of Egyptian mythology that you could research as well, which I won't get into here. So with that, let me see, what does Charles say about this? Yes, so when we think about that, it is this opening up, this uncovering of who we are, this letting go of our vulnerabilities, and in fact, celebrating our vulnerabilities as opposed to hiding from them, right? Imagine if we celebrated our vulnerabilities together instead of worrying about hiding them. Thinking of my kids, like, what is it I want most for them? To protect them, right? And you see them as so vulnerable when they're little, and you just love them because of their vulnerability. Imagine if they were born full adults having it all together. That connection as a parent wouldn't be there. It's that watching them struggle with life that you begin to adore them and understand them and appreciate them and see them go through that struggle of humanity that actually connects you deeper with them. Well, I would argue that that's the same for all of us at all stages of life, that when we can see somebody, truly see them for who they are, don't you have an affinity for them after that? Right? So we should be celebrating our vulnerabilities. It is through the subtle working of the soul in spiritual evolution under the guidance of divine mind that the soul progresses forward. We must go forward. The soul must meet and overcome its limitations. That's from Charles Fillmore in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. And it made me think, and I wrote this down for what came up for me, was we are living in the finite and wrestling with the infinite. That is what this life looks like to me now. That could change next week. But right now, that's where I'm at. So then as I was thinking about this, I was thinking about also other 12 powers. So in the Gospel of John, Gospel 1 of John, in the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Pretty powerful statement. And I changed that to, in the beginning was the infinite. And the infinite was with God, and the infinite was God. And I was thinking about the power of word and how we create. Isn't it, so just try this on. For me, this is how it looks, is that through our words, we actually connect with the infinite. It is through our speaking and our creative power of speech and our ability to, we all think in words, right? Occasionally we think in pictures, absolutely, but isn't most of our self-talk in language? Right? When we're talking to ourselves. So the word is very powerful. And when you think about all the fiction that has been written over the history of humanity, the worlds that have been created, the ideas, the stories that have come out, that is really the word being put into the infinite. when I think of science fiction, things like that have been written, it's just this unbelievable imagination to create. So I propose that it is through our word that we actually begin to create the infinite in our lives. And through speaking and communication, we open up those channels to others and to ourselves through that. Through our words, we connect to the infinite. We can put away our limitations. So that also got me thinking of Jesus. So in Jesus in Matthew, there's a section, it's called the greatest commandment. But just before that, you can see that the Pharisees and the Sadducees are trying to trip up Jesus. They were always trying to trip him up. As you know, Jesus, as I've shared here before, Jesus was a rabbi. He was Jewish, so he was teaching what he believed was the biblical scripture, the way he understood it. And so they were always trying to catch him and trip him up and see where he didn't have it together, so to speak. And so in Matthew, I think it's 22, I'll read this, the greatest commandment. When the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together. And one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question to test him. Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest? He's referring to the 10 Commandments. He said to him, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. And a second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these 2 commandments hang all the law and prophets. So here we have this storyteller who in, literally 8 sentences reduces the 10 commandments into probably the most important law or scripture to take away. Love the infinite. So open yourself up to the infinite with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind, and then love each other the same way. Pretty powerful stuff. And if you look at the 10 Commandments, it really isn't there a lot of, don't covet your neighbor's stuff, right? There's love your God, honor your mother and father, and don't covet other people's stuff, really is, don't kill, right? Those are the 10 Commandments. So if you just boiled them down to 2, it really is love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and then love your neighbor as if they're yourself. And if we all did that, then your prayer today for the challenge in the world would likely not be necessary. We wouldn't need to pray for people to stop killing one another, to stop fighting. And when I think of love and Charles Fillmore's interpretation of love, it's harmonizing. Well, the only way to harmonize is to open ourselves up. We need to open up to one another and to ourselves and to each other to really experience that harmony of love. It doesn't happen when we're like this. It just doesn't. It's really hard to love somebody when they're closed off. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but it is. It's really hard to experience love with someone when there's no connection of each of us opening up to one another. It needs to be a two-way connection. This is what Charles, I believe, was calling living from our Christ consciousness. The Christ as the perfect word or idea of God, the embodiment of all divine ideas which unfolds in true man as perfect, as potential perfection. That's my interpretation of it. That if we opened up to one another and truly experienced embracing each other's wonderfulness and vulnerabilities as if they were the same thing, if we did that for ourselves, imagine if we embraced ourselves that way. I can very quickly think of some pretty terrible things I did growing up and have done throughout my life. And of course I don't want to share those. Of course I want to push them down and not deal with them. And yet I have found that through this experience of becoming involved at Unity, since 2017, May of 2017, I think I walked through the doors of Unity with Leslie and my family. To be here now on this ministerial path was never in the plan. And it has been the most challenging thing for me because it's forcing me to deal with my stuff. But it's beautiful at the same time. And I've never loved myself at the level I do now. I've never appreciated those dark spots in me the way I do now, because they've allowed me to be, as I've opened up, they've allowed me to become the man and the person that I am, because I understand. I was listening to this talk about the idea of tragedy versus evil. Tragedy happens, but there is evil in the world. And coming to terms with my own humanness is understanding that I could do what Hitler did. That's part of it's understanding that inside of me is that darkness, that ability to do something really awful exists inside of me. And I would say that if people don't know that, they don't know themselves. They've never cared to look at themselves, not right or wrong, good or bad, but if you don't know that as a human, I would offer you the opportunity to have a look and to do some work at seeing who you are as a human being. That's what the Bible is for me. It's a great uncovering of the story of us as humans and how do we deal with this thing called consciousness that we received in the Garden of Eden, that moment where we became conscious and understood that we needed to hide ourselves. It's a great story. So, I invite you all to take a look, to open yourself up, to be okay with the things that make you human. It's both the light and the dark that make us human. And it's by using light to shine on our darkness that we can find love and open up. It's okay. It really is. Namaste. Whew. I invite everybody to just take a few moments here. If you're comfortable, you can close your eyes. Just be with your breath. And what I mean by that is to follow it in and out. As you breathe in, notice where you're breathing into. If it helps, you can place a hand on your chest or your belly, depending on where you're breathing. And feel it rise and fall with every breath. And while you're here, I invite you to know that inside you is this beautiful spirit, this divine being. And the invitation is for you to allow your light to shine. And it can start with just one little step. You can declare that you love something about yourself. You can appreciate something about yourself in this moment. And from there, you can appreciate something about somebody else. And you can build on this as often as you like. And I invite you to contemplate this as often as you like. And you can come back to this room and space as you are inspired to. I thank you for your time and attention.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. And may we be happy. I am filled with loving kindness. I am well. I am peaceful and at ease. And I am happy.
Thomas, thank you. A couple of thoughts came up for me when you talked about the potential that we all have for evil. I've been reading ahead on the new book study coming up from Unity Canada, the Book of Forgivingness by Desmond Tutu, and he says the same thing. If Desmond Tutu has the potential for evil, you know, what chance have I? And the other thing about when I hear about Genesis, I always think of they were warned not to eat of the tree of knowledge. And that sounds like, if you interpret from a literal evangelical point of view, that it's good for us to be ignorant, you know, just being led around into. It's actually, they weren't supposed to eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That's what they weren't supposed to know. Lovely. Thank you. Musical interlude by Nico.
That was a delightfully dramatic. It was like some Shatner kind of acting with Nico. I was gonna play what's on the screen right now. I don't know, maybe not. What that's from, anyway. Okay.
Wonderful as always. Thank you so much. I almost wanted to have a little nap there. So we got a bunch of things happening here as always, more and more. So right after service today, if you care to join Mavis online just to talk about what this morning's experience was about for you, any insights you may have had, or just to visit, just pop online. The meeting number is there, and if you prefer, go to your newsletter and just click on the link. Monday Magic at the Met. Tomorrow is Prayer Circle in Victoria, and next week they are finally getting to do their Burning Bowl and White Stone ceremony next Monday, the April 11th. So every Monday at Unity Victoria, there is something going on. So you're all free to join. And there's an extra special slide just to emphasize the White Stone ceremony and Burning Bowl next week. What's Up Unity this Tuesday, which is 2 days from today. Please join us at 7 o'clock online. This is kind of our monthly congregational meeting. There's a lot of things to talk about this month. Annual general meeting is coming up. There's a couple of board positions to be filled. We really want to get spirit groups started again. As I think we did extremely well during the pandemic at going online and catching up with technology. And I think where we could have improved is in staying connected with our members. And as I speak with ministers from other centers, the two things that they stress that have been really important is spirit groups and connection calls. So that's something for us to talk about. We also want to start planning right now for tentatively July 31st. It's a Sunday. What can we do that's really special? It'll bring everybody up from Victoria and everybody down from Courtenay and Comox area to all get together. That's going to take some planning. And Unity Canada is tentatively bringing the annual conference back to an in-person conference as well as virtual. And we're tentatively planning that at the Bethlehem Retreat Center in Nanaimo. And we're going to need people to help. So let's get together and talk about all of these things. And as far as the spirit groups, anyone can host a spirit group. What a spirit group is a small group of people that connect at a deep level, and that typically are 8 weeks in length. 6 of those weeks would be about a book study or play readings or poetry or photography, whatever your interest is. And then one evening or one session would be a social session, and one would be a community service project. So imagine getting together for 8 consecutive weeks with a small group of people with that in common and doing some good work together. Can you think how that would be connected? So anyone can host one of those. And what we need is a coordinator to make sure those people are there, able to express whatever their passion is, start a spirit group, and know what to do. So another thing to think about. Eat Well, Be Well. 1 week from today, next Sunday, Lacey will be here in the service in the afternoon. At 1 o'clock, she will be doing the Eat Well, Be Well seminar. That's by donation in our building over here. You can read all about it online. She's quite an interesting lady. And as I say, the Book of Forgiving, an amazing book. I downloaded it on Kindle, been reading it on my computer. Starts a week from Tuesday. So think about that and maybe go online and order the book and start reading. And for those of you for whom the liturgical calendar is important and all through the Lenten season, and look forward to a Good Friday session, Wendy Carr, the Unity Canada licensed Unity teacher and education representative, will be presenting that. So that link will be in your newsletter next week as well. And who wants to have pancake breakfast? Yeah. So, everyone is welcome, and Jill kind of really needs to know who's going to be there, how many people to cook for. So there's a link on Eventbrite. Now, if you're because when you register and buy tickets on Eventbrite, lets us know who you are, keeps tracing, and it also gives you the opportunity to prepay or make your donation ahead of time. And some people just don't want to do that online, and some people are intimidated to learn yet another program. So if you're really freaked out by Eventbrite on any of these things, just call me. Just call me and let me know you're coming, and we'll work it out. Okay? All right. And the same with the Regreening the Earth, that's the 23rd, that's at Bowen Park, and that's in partnership with the Green Faith Interfaith community. And quite a few representatives of various faiths will be taking part in that. So you can go online and you can purchase a plant to be purchased, or you can just come. Okay? It is the day after Earth Day, yes. Okay. And as I say, the mini conference comes up April 24th. We'll have lots of fun. There'll be no in-person service that morning, but the music done by Joshua will be streamed from here, but we'll all join online on Zoom with people all across Canada and have a lot of fun. And Reverend Vicky did the prayers on the thread in Victoria, had about 25 people. They had a wonderful time, so she's going to do it here. It's about making your own prayer beads and your own affirmations, and it's an afternoon workshop. So you can register for that by sending an email to Reverend Vicky. And ongoing events, family singing circle, Mondays at 6:30. And you know, as we arrive for choir at 7, and there's this circle of kids sitting on the floor, Linda's leading them, singing about love all around the world and holding hands on the world, around the world. And as the choir members all come in, they all sit down on the floor and join in too. And it's really become quite magical, hasn't it? So please join us, whether you stay for choir or not. And there's a hint that there might be a choir concert in June. So, on prayers, a rumor. There is a rumor, just being started right now. Yes.
The rumor just got started.
Every second and fourth Tuesday, if you're in the Courtenay-Comox area, you can join the prayer team at 1:00 for a prayer circle. 10:30 Thursday mornings, Leanne with one N leads A Course in Miracle, and board games here in Nanaimo every Friday night. And our gratitude this week goes to Pope Francis, who has finally formally apologized to the Indigenous people of Canada. Long overdue, so I am just so grateful to hear that news. And thank you to all of you for your support, for being here, for coming out, for supporting not only the service in the morning, but for signing up for these upcoming events and helping us get back. You know, we're open. We're ready to go. So thank you for your support in whatever way you can participate. And been waiting for this. Ken.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them blue for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, bright blessed day, dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
So I'm going to share my vulnerability with you. I get mixed up sometimes. Doesn't that make you love me even more? Yeah. Okay, let's share our children's blessing. We see the divine light shining as you. We love and appreciate you exactly the way you are. And let us have our prayer for protection and our peace song to close. The light that is God surrounds me. I am one with the light. The love that is God enfolds me. I am one with the love. The power that is God protects me. I am one with the power. The presence that is God watches over me. I am one with the presence. Wherever I go, God is, and all is well, and so it is. Amen.